Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Lech Lecha. In our edition of the Zohar, it's volume 3, and we're at verse 21, and it's article 5. It's called Get You Out for Your Sake, volume 21. So as we always do, let's invite in the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rav Shlag, Rav Brandwein, the Ria Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rav Mazulai, Rav Menachem Mendel Levatepsk, Rav Kolonum Shapira, Apia Setzna, Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, one soul with Yosef Tzadik and Shechem. As we connect to these verses, let's connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone with human decency, the energy of healing, and let's just briefly think of everyone we know who needs healing. When we connect to the Zohar, it's always a tremendous opportunity to connect to all kinds of fulfillment and healing and energy of protection, and that's what we always set our consciousness for. So I want to send out healing energy to Sarah bat Yudit, Sarah bat Malka, Yitzchak ben Rivka, Melissa bat Marjid, Chana bat Rivka, Yudit Masa Navon bat Aviva, Genesa bat Rachel Dina, and Surah Perel bat Yitereza. Again, anyone we know who needs healing, let's send them energy of healing. Let's also send energy of assistance to those souls that we know are elevating. Assistance and comfort on that journey. Also, let's connect to the energy of protection from evil eye and evil speech. Also, the energy of ending war, or channeling energy of peace for our world. So ending the war in Israel, protection of all those innocents that are in harm's way, the safe release of all the hostages being held by Hamas, ending the war between Russia and the Ukraine. And in our own country, actually in other places in the world, I mean, the Israeli soccer team, I think, traveled to Holland.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Jews were targeted.
Yeah, so they went to support the Maccabi hockey team in a tournament, and they were.
It was like an organized pogrom, almost.
It was an organized attack against them.
Yeah.
We know that there was a Jewish guy walking to synagogue on Saturday morning 2 Saturdays ago who was shot in the back walking to synagogue by Arab terrorist. And so it's really, our own streets are really not safe right now. I mean, I hear other things going on. I haven't been able to collaborate yet. So we just want to send out energy of protection to anyone in harm's way. Okay.
I just want to add one more thing, David.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
Yeah, thank you. It's beautiful blessings. I just want to ask for divine protection, providence, and inspiration for our country, in particular, our government, all those who lead, all the governments throughout the world, all those who lead, just for this massive divine providence and protection and the safety net, the miracles that need to happen in our certainty. And may we not be living in a fear-mongering society anymore. Please and thank you.
Yeah, Amen. Great. That's a great, thanks for adding that. I think that's great. You know, there's this thing that Kabbalistically, when someone rises to the position of head of state, they automatically get a level of prophecy. And we see it actually in a lot of the stories that make up our holy writings. You know, again, to your point, we want the energy of divine providence, divine inspiration, divine influence for the good for all of us. So let's move past that for a second. Verse 21. Thank you for that, Suzanne. V'yomar Shem el Avram Lech Lecha. Amar Rabbi Elazar Lech Lecha. Legarmach le'atkana garmach. Le'atkana darga dilach. Lech Lecha. Leit ant kadai lemekam. Hacha bin chayavin ilain.
Now Hashem said to Abram, "Get you out."
Okay, so that is the title verse. That's the title of this week's portion, Get You Out. And we know Kabbalistically the title is a reflection of the internal energy, which brings up this whole idea about what is reflection. Well, I think of reflection. I think if I look in the mirror and I see myself, that's one reflection. Someone says, I want you to think about this or reflect upon it. I say, I appreciate that information. I'm going to reflect upon it. What does it mean in that context? What does it mean consciously to reflect on something? I mean, the meaning I attach to is I'm going to think about it some more. But what does it mean to reflect? Why reflect? Why is that reflection? What's that to do with the mirror?
Well, it's
Is
about
there's two different meanings for the same word? What do you think, Andrea?
it's about facing it, like taking a look and facing it, and what's going on inside is going to come up.
Yeah, I like that. Facing it and see what's bouncing back and forth. What am I seeing? I'm reflecting. I'm looking at it. I'm letting it. Letting it bounce back to me. I'm facing it. I mean, reflection is an aspect of it's self-reflection, isn't it? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, Ron.
Yeah, I think it's also like learning from it, like, what are you getting out of it, and then moving on. Because if you don't reflect, it's gonna just continue to
Yeah.
come up.
How is this serving me? How is it serving me? So it's just so interesting because we all of a sudden this word reflection came up, and I'm like that, but that's the theme of this week. Lech, if God wanted to tell Abraham to go, he'd say Lech. But he doesn't say Lech. He says Lech Lecha, go to you. Turn, introspect, reflect, face who you are. Reflect upon your internal nature, your internal energy. Find your truth. Abram, you're destined to change the world, but you need to see your potential for that. Well, that's nice. It's a nice little Abraham story. What does that have to do with us? Lech Lecha. You need to do that. We all need to do that. This is the week of self-reflection. This is the week of self-care. This is the week of turning our thoughts inward. Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? What's no longer serving me? What's the additional work I need to do for the next 6 months? What am I supposed to be doing? Where is my soul? How do I align myself with my soul's purpose? So, and it's not just for us, it's for the whole world. Like we talk about this a lot. If I do something because it's important to someone else, I'm not living me, I'm living them. Right? Sometimes you have to do things out of whatever. But to what degree am I living a life that's been designed by someone else? There's only one life I'm supposed to lead, the one that's designed supernally by the Creator. For me, I asked for that life, but I can't find the receipt. I know I booked the flight, but it's not showing up anywhere. If I can only find the code number for the flight, I look on the app, I look at my email. Where is that flight? It's somewhere. I know I made it. Yeah, you're here. This is it. This is the journey. We're on the journey. Well, how do I know what journey I'm supposed to be on? Well, reflect upon what's going on. We're getting messages all the time. It's a constant stream of messages. Okay, let's continue.
According to Rabbi Elazar, the phrase go for you means for yourself. In other words, go out for yourself, to fulfill yourself and complete your grade. Get you out, for you must not stay here among the wicked.
Ooh, the wicked. Who's the wicked? Well, let's not jump to conclusions. When I am engaged in whatever or not, like, should I do this, shouldn't I? And I hear the voices in my head. Well, That's what we mean by the wicked. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, the opponent, the Satan, whatever label you want to attach. It's this energy that is that self-sabotages. I don't know if it's even self-sabotage. It's sabotage, because self is my soul, so it's the opponent that's trying to sabotage me. Or you're not entitled to that. Or you don't have the qualifications for that job. Or you're not going to grow your business. Or you're not going to grow your relationship. No. Don't allow those limitations to creep in. And this is the week where we have the opportunity to see those limitations for what they are. The influence of the opponent. Who's, again, when we align ourselves with our soul, we're revealing tremendous light in the world. When we allow the opponent to get us off course, the opponent gets the light. The world doesn't. That's the opponent's job. To give us an opportunity to earn that light. It's not easy. The default is to just give the light over to the opponent. That's our default system. The override is we take action. We have free will to overcome that influence. That in and of itself reveals light. And then it's like, I don't know how much light it's going to reveal. I don't even know what the potential is. I can't even see the light. So I definitely don't know, but it's revealing light. Every time we act against our nature, AKA the opponent, we are revealing light. And that's the huge gift in this section. And it's the huge gift to the world. This week, every time of the year that we're reading this portion. The playing field is wide open for us. So it's an especially opportune time to do the reflection and the things that are happening to us. What kind of crazy week is this? The universe is assisting us by throwing chaos our way. Assisting us in what? Chaos? Being upset? Getting dysregulated? Seeing what you're dysregulated about. Seeing what you're being triggered about. Seeing what you need to work on to achieve equanimity, to being okay with what is, to seeing my pain, to seeing my trauma, to being with it and working past it, so I don't have to be so triggered. I know, but you wouldn't believe how crazy the trigger was. No, believe me, I had a week too. I believe it. That's why that's happening. Seems more random than that. No, it's not. It seems random. I know it seems random. That's the design of our reality. That there's nothing that's random. It's all supernal design. It's all happening precisely as it's supposed to, precisely designed to assist you in why you're here. When we get listen, I had a week. I was definitely dysregulated for a good part of it. I mean, and I have to remind myself as I'm processing the pain and anguish and whatever else is going on, this is all for my greater good. You're kidding me. No. Yeah, it's all for my greater good. And the more I embrace it and work through it, the greater resilience I develop for more chaos. I mean, the most elevated souls to walk this earth were challenged. They don't look challenged. They are resilient. They have a mindset that helps them process what's going on. Abraham had all kinds of chaos he was dealing with. He had 10 tests, which would have shattered a mere mortal. I mean, he was immortal. He is immortal, but so it's all about, we're going to get challenged. It's like, how are we going to handle that? We're going to get knocked down and we're going to pick ourselves up again. And we're going to grow in our resilience and our ability to deal with challenges. And we're going to also model that for the people around us that need to see that. If they're seeing it, they're supposed to see it. It's in their movie. They're watching your movie, but they're benefiting from it. So it's like no pressure, but it's not only about us being resilient, it's about us modeling resiliency. And you can't fake that. You could try, plenty of people do, but they're still dragging around all this garbage. And so when you see someone who's like acting like, I don't get it. And again, we've said this a million times. It's like our tendency to say is, what's wrong with him? When the real question is, what happened to him? What's happening to him? What kind of pain are they walking around with that cause them to act in the way that they do? But that's what's going on. That's their pain. I'm not judging them for their pain. I got my own pain that I'm working through. Verse 22. V'razat demila lech lecha, dahat kutrabrichu, yahiv le Avraham, rucha dechachmata, v'vayeda umitzarev sitre d'yeshuve alma, v'istakal bahov, v'atkal betikla v'yadachelin, dima manan al sitre yeshuva. Andrea?
The secret behind the words, "Get you out," is the Holy One, blessed be he, inspired Abraham with the spirit of wisdom.
Okay, so get you out is how the Creator is the wake-up call that the Creator gave to Abraham to get him to the next level, so he could to help him develop his resiliency, his ability to see more in the world around him, see more about himself, see more about, and then there's this idea that like it's the throat chakra. I know I've shared this multiple times. What I heard about throat chakra is like when your throat chakra is blocked, you're not speaking your truth. The more you find and speak your truth, the more unblocked your throat chakra becomes. So that's like one aspect of it. But there's a second aspect of it. The more truth you speak, the more you connect to your truth, the more your throat chakra opens up, the more truth behind the words you hear other people you see. You see the truth behind their words, what they're saying, when they may not see it, because their chakra isn't open. They don't see the truth behind the words that they say. But when you are working and connected to your truth and your throat chakra opens up, another consequence of that is you see the truth behind the words that people say. You see their pain. What do I do about that? Don't take it on. Don't take it on. So, I mean, the more empathetic are, the more difficult that becomes. But it's not, we're supposed to see it. We're not, and maybe feel a little bit of it. We're not supposed to be taken out, debilitated by that. We need to set up boundaries around that. Okay, let's continue.
He knew how to judge the spirits, also winds of the civilized world. He observed.
He was judgy? Abraham was judging people? So no, he wasn't judging people. That's the word, but what he was seeing was people's motivations. He saw why they were doing what they were doing. He saw the influences they were under. Yes, Ron.
I just have a question about what you just said about don't take it on. So, going back to how do you do that like personally? I just want to hear an example.
How do I do it?
Yeah, because for me, I've noticed like I maybe inadvertently or automatically take it on, and then I'm drained the next day and I don't know what happened, but now I'm seeing it, right? So like, but a lot of times I'm just not aware, and then I feel the impact the next day. So I'm just wondering, like, when you say don't take it on, what have you learned in as far as like creating boundaries or tools?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So I would say that somehow I got a message years ago to say to myself, you're okay. You're okay. This is going on, but you're okay. They need help. but you're fine. So that's one thing. And then all the spiritual work that we do in terms of when the things that we do to align ourselves with our soul's purpose, to see like that's in my movie, but that's not me. Like we're exposed to things to assist us. Remember, why is experiencing their pain? How's that serving my greater good? Well, I want to be compassionate, but I still need to take care of myself. It's like, first and foremost, I put the mask on me, and then I help the person sitting next to me. So I think part of what we always need to do is a self-check to just make sure that we're okay in this setting and remind ourselves we are okay. So we approach it from the perspective of, I'm helping them. I was just sharing a story earlier today about an experience I had where a close friend lost a child. And they were home and they just found out they lost a child. And I got a call to go over there and keep them company because they didn't want them to be alone. The other family didn't want them to be alone. I was closest and no one was around. And I mean, I'm sharing that story because that's like, it's an incredibly painful experience. God forbid, as we say, lo aleinu, it shouldn't happen. None of us should ever experience that, but it's an incredibly painful experience. And like, how are you going into that situation and not taking on that pain? So, assume that if you're getting the call, literally or figuratively, that, you're getting the call, you're being asked to pitch in this way. That's not a random thing. You can place limitations on it. You can place boundaries around it. And you need to, when you show up in those extreme situations. And so part of it is like just having the presence of mind to understand that this is not my experience. This is their experience. I'm just being there to be supportive. I hope that's helpful.
You were able to do that?
I was. And I'm skipping a lot of the story. But I did set up boundaries. There were things that I did to be in that context, to be okay in that context. But it was like changing moment to moment. I mean, it was crazy. As you would imagine. I mean, So, but that's like, and and the other thing I think is important is we show up without expecting anything in return. Because it's not about us. And it's the greatest form of charity is doing something anonymously without expecting anything in return. So I think those are important like mindsets to have when we're confronted with other people's challenges and pain. And just, we want to be able to hear people share their pain with us and not make judgments and be supportive and help them process. It's like you want to create safe spaces for people who are important to you so that they can share with you and assist them. Sometimes it's just like talking, like, it's like these like examples of like, one partner comes to the other and is discussing a problem and the other partner, well, usually it's a guy-girl thing, I think, guys are always trying to fix it. Like, and, the women don't want it fixed. They just want to talk about their problems. So like, they're very humorous, but like, it's very serious. Like you want to give people the opportunity to talk, say what they need to say and to let them know you understand, to validate how they feel. That's what they're looking for. They need it. Like I'm on crazy pills. Like what's going on? You need to help them to validate you're not crazy. You're going through an experience and your reactions are legitimate and normal. And that's okay to have reactions. And that's how you want to show up when people are in pain. You have pain. I see your pain. I understand your pain. And you got to give yourself time you got to be with that pain so you can process it and move on. I mean, when your role is defined in that way, I feel like that creates healthy boundaries about you taking on their pain. Your feelings, your responsibility. Super important to know that. They may want you to take on your pain. You're not. And you can't always tell them, hey, your pain, your responsibility, but you can say that in your head. This is your journey. This is your movie. I'm just trying to be here to be supportive and validating and to assist you in processing it. But I'm not taking it on. Your pain is your responsibility. Your feelings are your responsibility. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, where do we leave off?
He observed them,
Okay. Yes.
weighed them in the scales, and knew how to connect them to the powers entrusted to govern the inhabited places on earth.
So we're getting insight into Abram's mindset in the world. So this is super powerful because I want to elevate my mindsets. I mean, Abram, there were plenty of good people in the world. Why is Abraham so significant? Well, he's the father of three main religions. Okay, but that's the result. That's not the source. The source is he was super elevated and he was able to look around and see the world in a different way. And as Mikhail pointed out last week when he was talking about Noah, Noah had a relationship, a vertical relationship with the Creator. Abraham had a vertical relationship with the Creator, but he also had a horizontal relationship with people in the world. He could connect, he could relate, he could share the benefit of seeing the Creator and creating a relationship with the Creator. Noah couldn't. Noah had a relationship with the Creator. He was a very elevated soul, but he couldn't really connect the people to that. He wasn't successful in doing that. So yes, righteous soul, but not as righteous as Abraham was. And hence he doesn't occupy the same position in our spiritual lineage that Abraham does. Abraham, when I was a kid and people still say, well, Abraham was the first guy to see there was only one God. Okay, that's like for kindergarten. Abram was the first person to create a relationship with God and find a way to share that with the world. Share. That's what he did. He's known for sharing. And now we're getting the insight into what was he doing? Well, he observed them. He's trying to share, not everything we study on this path should be shared. Not everything that we encounter, that we learn on this path should be shared with some people. They're not open. They're not ready for it. They're not okay with it. Observe what's going on around you. Just, don't just shoot your energy around willy-nilly. We have it. This is what we mean by judge. This is discretion. When it says he judged, he had discretion over where people were at and who was open. Who's open to actually listening to the spiritual wisdom that I have to share? I don't mean me. I mean, in general, it's the thing we want to ask. This is what he was observing. What does it mean he weighed them in the scales? Obviously, he didn't throw in the scale. What's the scales? It's right and left. It's mercy and judgment. Yes, Roshan.
Yeah, so where does this put a big movement like ours, like in the Kabbalah Center and the Zohar Project and so on, to bring in as many waking up people as possible, but at the same time realizing that not everybody's going to be open to what we're doing?
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone's open to spirituality. Not everyone's open to seeing the Zohar as a spiritual document. Some people see it as just literature or holy literature. Some people just see it as literature. They don't even see it as holy literature. They know the Zohar, but they see it as literature. Some people see it as holy literature, but they don't see it as a tool that we should be using in our lives. A lot of people like that. They just don't see it. They're not ready. They're not there. They're not there. They may never be there, but we have to know that.
But is that part of our protection too, is knowing who we want to connect with and who we should be connecting with?
Yeah, I don't think it's even our want, because we would desire for everyone to be connected. It's like, do they have the desire? How do I see? So when weighing in the scales, like, where's their desire? Are they attuned to desirous of spiritual growth. They don't even know. Listen, 20 years ago, if you had said to me, like, what are you doing to grow spiritually? I'd be like, what's that? I'm not even joking. What is that? I don't even know what that means. Spiritual? I don't know what that means. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, that's where I was. And then I started studying Kabbalah, and I was like getting struck by lightning. Figurative, no, not really, but like it was all of a sudden, it was like it all changed in an instant for me. And for a lot of people whose stories I've listened to. Like I spoke to someone yesterday who just witnessed like a moment of healing through Kabbalistic tools, and it changed her life. I know her. I didn't know that experience. I feel I like it was a merit to have that conversation. It was crazy. Yes, Suzanne.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know you talk about 20 years ago. It's funny, right? Like, oh my God, what's taken place in 20 years? I mean, I grew up religious, right? And trying to understand a lot of I don't know what I don't know, a lot of exploration, like a seeker. I was a seeker, and I looked in lots of places. And I think, the Kabbalistic experience kind of hit me about 20 years ago too, approximately, which is the midlife thing, And what I find fascinating is it really taught me, well, it's obviously such illuminated wisdom, but it really taught me how to go within. And I had no freaking clue. I mean, for me, everything was external for the most part,
Yeah, I totally relate. It's like if you had
It's like,
said to
oh
me,
my
if you
God.
said me the ultimate journey is the journey within, I'd be like, oh, whatever.
I didn't even understand what that meant. I mean, I thought
I
I
don't
did.
either. Yeah.
I mean, it
And
was
that's
just
what
like,
this portion's about. No wonder we didn't see the significance of this portion. We disregarded the journey within.
yeah, all
I mean,
external,
it
man.
sounds so cornball and hokey. The journey within is. I know what it sounds like, but I assigned that meaning to it. I probably heard it from somebody. That was the mindset. No longer is it. No, it is no longer the mindset. When you're on a spiritual journey, you understand the ultimate version is the ultimate journey is the journey within. Thank you, Suzanne. Thanks for sharing that. It's really powerful. Okay, so that's what Abraham was doing. We're getting insight into his mindset, which helps us to expand our mindset, expand our consciousness, align our consciousness with Abraham's right here. So he weighed them. He saw, were they more merciful? Were they more judgy? Like, how can I approach these people? Where is it that, is there an opportunity for me to connect with them horizontally so I can align them with the vertical alignment with the light of the Creator? It's fascinating. How to connect them to the powers entrusted to govern the inhabited places on the world. The upper world governs the lower world. When we're aligned with the upper world, we're able to work with the energy in the lower world. That's what Abraham was doing, and that's what we all continue to do. Verse 23. Kad mata lego nekuda demtsaita di yeshuva takil betikla v'lahava salek biyadei ashgach lemindal cheladi memana Allah v'leyachil itdabka birute.
When he reached the middle point of civilization, he weighed it in the scales, but could not reach any conclusion.
Because so like he did, it's not like it was all like, rainbows and unicorns for him. It required work. I mean, so he hit an impasse. Go ahead. What does that mean, though? And Rabbi Schlag is about to tell us. Go ahead.
This means that he elevated Ma'in Nukvin,
Our physical realm. He was elevating our physical realm
in order to draw down the spirit of wisdom to that place.
So he's trying to create this connection between upper realm and lower realm. That's what he was working on, to manifest the energy of healing, of peace, of protection, all the energy in the upper realm. He's trying to manifest that. Keep going.
But did not succeed. He tried to see and to know what sort of power governed that place, but could not conceive it.
Okay, let's continue and see if we can get a little more insight into what exactly that was. 24. Tatio kama zimni mechama daha mitaman ishtil kol alma ashgach v'tzeraf v'takal laminda v'chama daha chela ilaam de'ala leit le shiura amik v'satim v'lav ihu kagavne desitre darge teshuva.
He weighed a few more times before realizing that the whole world sprouts from that place and is established upon it.
He's trying to create this connection, but the world is a reflection of that. Oh, there's that reflection word again. This world has no light of its own. This light in our world is all coming from the upper realm. The channels are already open, maybe not sufficiently, but they're there. We wouldn't have light in this world. We wouldn't have anything in this world. We see like it's from here. We see the tree growing up out of the ground. Obviously, it's here. No, that's an illusion. It's an up-down linear way of thinking. It's not linear. It's not linear. We're so locked into this linear thinking. A precedes B, B follows A, C follows B, D follows C. Linear. No. That's just so we can handle it. That's not real. That's just a processing tool. It's a mindset. No. You mean things can happen? You mean B can happen before A? Yeah. Yeah, it can. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a linear. No. No. It may just appear that way. It may not be happening at all. We don't know. Good.
See, where are we?
Observe carefully.
Oh, sorry. He observed carefully and measured so as to understand the subject and concluded that the supernal force above it could not be measured, that it is deep and hidden, and that it does not resemble the different parts of the inhabited land.
Okay, so, I mean, very deep concept. We're going to wrap with this, but the whole idea is that this is a nice way of saying there's an endless world. There's a flawless universe, the same place. The endless world, the flawless universe, the reservoir of fulfillment, the answer to all the questions, the healing, the protection, the peace, the immortality, the eternal aspect of all things. There's a place where that all is. It doesn't say that he saw it. He wanted to understand it and concluded that it can't be measured. What do you mean can't be measured? Get a ruler out and measure it. It can't be measured. It's beyond the veil of our reality. He understood, though, that it was there, and he understood that that is what informs, that is what illuminates, that is what animates our world. And once you understand that, it's all energy coming from another place, an elevated place. Once you understand that, we start to get more reflective upon what our reality is and where our soul is. Remember, like whoever you see you are, you are the tip of the iceberg that is your soul. You, as manifesting a physicality, is a very small portion of who you are. The rest of you is in the eternal world. You have an eternal spark within you. It's blocked. There's things in the way, but that's where my consciousness, that's the mindsets I need to work on. I need to look internally, see that eternal aspect of myself, that spark of the creator that exists within me, and remove all the things that don't serve me so I can manifest that spark, that light, and act as a greater channel, get myself out of the way, and act as a greater channel for the blessings that the Creator's trying to rain upon our world all the time. Okay, we're out of time.
Mhm.
Hope that shook you up enough.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
All right, everybody. Love you all. Shabbat shalom. Thank you
Shabbat
for
shalom.
joining us.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Good weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. You
Bye.
too.